Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Senator Rodriguez is my guest tonight, and of course we're discussing Bill number 20 that had a lot of discussion, a big debate, heated debate actually on the session floor yesterday and Friday. Senator, please.
Well, yeah, it's back in committee. We're going to see what we can do now to get additional support to bring it back out because we can't. I mean, we cannot stop finding ways to help the hospital.
Sure.
This 18 million, the balance now is about 18 plus million, is just something that must be resolved. 9 months ago, my wife and I gave birth to our son, and it really hit me there, when my wife and I decided we're not going to do any, no epidurals, right? She'll try to go natural.
You didn't have the $600 down the hallway.
That's right. So, and I supported her. But at a time when she says, no, I need it, she told the doc, I need pain medication. He says, okay. And my wife was high risk that time, and said, okay, we'll give you this medicine, but the risk is you need to know that if you give birth within an hour, your baby will be born depressed. Can you imagine? I'm right there, standing there. You're telling a laboring mom that, I asked doctor why. There's got to be a medicine that is safe, a painkiller that is safe. And he says, well, the painkiller we want to give her, we don't have it because the vendor has cut off the hospital. And so he says, look, this is a pain reliever, but it's not what I would usually give in this circumstance.
It's not his first choice.
It's not his first choice. And so that's what the hospital is having to resort to. They have to go to their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth year. And a lot of times it's costing us 300, 400% more. And so, I really don't understand why right now this funding source that we've identified, the past month has been less than a month has been in operation, has paid about over $63,000 in GRT, has paid over $100,000 in licensing fees, and that's what I want to go after.
Well, baffles me too, and you're working with. I got to call some of your colleagues clowns. I got to call them because a previous bill that at least Vice Speaker had co-sponsored. Okay, it was good enough to designate to pay for parks and recreation facilities, again sports facilities in the of course the DOE and also parks and recreation and the mayor's facilities. And yes, those are all good. They're all underserved actually and under actually moneyed basically. Yeah? And yes, they're definitely good to look at and help them out. But why is it good enough to look at that source, to fund that, but not the hospital, and say, when you introduced it, you're legalizing gambling. When they introduced a bill, it was just a source of funding.
Yeah, I hate to be, and I don't like to be, very critical of my colleagues because I respect all of them, and
But I can be, and they used to be my colleagues as well.
Yes, okay? And so I respect them, and they have their reasons. But you're right, I don't understand. They stand up there and they say, they would fight tooth and nail every time gambling issue would come up. And you're right, this previous bill, Bill 19, seeks to tax other gambling activities, gaming
up to
activities.
20%.
That's right. And so you're right, if it's good for that reason, why is it not good for the hospital?
Yeah. And what gets me again is that they came down on you and accused you for legalized gambling. So wait a minute, let's go back to the 26th Guam legislature when they directed the Director of Revenue Tax to put the rules and regulations together for all gaming on Guam. Okay, and then after he had done that, he sent it down to the legislative secretary at the time, Senator Joanne Brown, that signed off on it. Basically, the legislative secretary. 27th Guam legislature codified what they had done. Okay, now it could be argued between whether this is law, it's little less than the law, whatever it can be argued. But that was the premise, that Revenue Tax licensed these machines. Was they read couple statute, and one, if you were to doubt the actions of the 26, the 27 said, hey, what you did was correct. We're going to codify that. That's what codification means. It solidified that. So when they did that, Revenue Tax read it after they were made aware that there were rules and regs, because when Bill 19 came up, Revenue Tax wasn't aware there were rules and regs. Okay, and so when they read it, they said, oh, wait a minute, these machines can be can be legally licensed.
That's right.
And I think it was the governor's legal counsel that read through it as well, and it says, yeah, there's nothing stopping it based on 26 and based on 27.
That's right.
Yeah, and then so you're just saying that's a source of funding. There's nothing in Bill 20 that says where you're going to legalize gambling.
Yeah, and you're right. And even the letter, the testimony we got from the Attorney General, it was late. It was after the public hearing,
Sure,
of course.
sure.
But we'll accept it.
Yeah.
Even he says in his conclusion that the language that it says they are ambiguous and do not clearly indicate whether the named gaming devices, which is the ones I name in my bill, would become legal. So even he's saying now is that my bill is not saying that these things are going to become legal, but now that he's giving me the guidance,
Sure.
we're going to make sure that we put it there so that there's no question, because we cannot afford to once again make this thing drag on in court for another 5-10 years, because, and one thing is they were in court, and why did they dismiss the case?
Sure, no, absolutely. And this whole thing again, the whole thing just premises on hypocrisy, okay? In hypocrisy. Because on one hand, and I'm saying, I was talking to a caller on radio this morning in regards to this situation. I said, most of the times this gaming situation is argued October, November, an election year when this thing comes up. I said, now it's being argued because you're being accused of legalized gambling on a bill that has nothing to do with legalized gambling. And they're saying how legalized gambling is no good. This is a segue into casino, and I'm going, well, wait a minute. On my way down, a lot of those folks on their way down to testify, they drove by a 24-hour casino. And so I'm wondering the difference between the enclosed casino 24 hours that you say for the first time is going to operate for 2 months. So for 2 months out of this 12 months that it's legal. So the moral fiber does not apply to that, but it applies when Senator Rodriguez identifies a source of funding. So you're moralist and you're fiberless, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what really bothers me a lot is this spin that's being out there, and recognizing these groups have been out there. They've been in the forefront. Every time there's a referendum about gambling, they're there. But then you're right. They have to. I mean, it's time for our community to look ourselves in the mirror and see what it is we're doing and why we're doing these things. We can't say gambling is bad, but you know what? Taxing bingo, taxing the lottery is okay. But these other forms, we can't do it.
Well, I mean, I think Senator BJ's got a solution now. He wants to tax all wholesalers now, right? Which means the price of goods and everything is going to go up. So he's going to tax us again. We'll be right back.